Your face isn't tired, your haircut is. You know the signs: collapsing layers that blur your jawline, ends that frizz no matter how long you blow dry, bangs fighting your glasses, photos where your features look softer than you feel. I see this every week in my chair, and the fix isn't more product or more time, it's a smarter shape. The right shortcut redirects light to your eyes and cheekbones, concentrates volume in the top third of your head, and cleans up the neckline so your profile looks longer and lifted. It doesn't ask for a 20-minute routine. It gives you 5 purposeful minutes that actually work. On Golden After 60, I'm sharing 10 short hair secrets designed for real life after 50. How to place crown height for an optical lift, choose edges that restore contrast, and polish texture so silver and salt-tanned pepper look luminous instead of dull. If a so-called youthful cut has ever demanded more effort and delivered less wow, this is your reset. Precise, flattering, and fast. If this speaks to you, stay with me. And if you want the rest of the series delivered when it drops, subscribe so you don't miss a step. Shorter hair can read younger after 60 for 4 concrete reasons. First, hair fibers themselves change. Shaft diameter and overall fiber robustness tend to decline with age, and the cuticle grows more fragile, so very long lengths often look wispier at the ends and are harder to polish uniformly. Second, shine depends on a smooth cuticle. When fibers are dry, frizzy, or weathered, the surface scatters light instead of reflecting it, which dulls long hair and amplifies tapering at the tips. Shorter silhouettes make it easier to maintain a smoother, light-reflective surface. Third, facial architecture shifts post-menopause. Dermal collagen falls rapidly, about 30% in the first 5 years, with an average tilde 2% per year thereafter, softening the jawline and midface. Hair that creates upward vectors, crown lift, cheekbone level perimeter, tapered nape, visually counterbalances that descent. Finally, perception matters. The visual system prefers continuous, upward lines, gestalt good continuation. So we read crown height and beveled edges as lifted and energetic without registering why. From an expert's chair, and as a woman in her 60s, I've seen a switch from chest-length layers to a cheekbone bob with a clean neckline redirect light to the eyes and restore definition in minutes, not months. The takeaway is practical. A well-cut shorter shape isn't about hiding age. It's about controlling light, line, and proportion so your best features lead. With the why established, we'll convert these optics into action, 10 salon-ready secrets, each detailing what it does visually, who it suits, the exact stylist request, fast at-home styling, maintenance timing, a real-life mini-story, and smart fashion pairings. Secret number 1. Retire the dragging layers. And what to do instead. Ultra-long layers on lower-density hair create a visual weight line below the face, pulling the eye downward and letting the ends go see-through so cheekbones recede. If you've worn long layers for years and your style now feels fussy, flat, or endlessly almost there, it's time to trade length for lift. Ask your stylist to transition you to cheekbone to chin length with a clean perimeter and subtle face framing that directs the gaze up. Keep crown height, not bottom heaviness. Avoid bulky top layers and maintain a smooth exterior so the shape reads polished, not choppy. At home, keep the routine tight and efficient. Work a lightweight root lift mousse into the crown only. Blow dry with a medium round brush, focusing on the top third of the hair to set lift where it counts. Smooth the perimeter with a paddle brush and guide the ends gently toward the jaw, never yanking straight down, which flattens the silhouette. Finish with a pea-size amount of flexible creme through the ends to defuzz without stealing movement. As you transition, plan trims every 6 to 8 weeks. Once the shape is established, 8 to 10 weeks is typical to keep the outline crisp and the crown buoyant. For my own chair, I'm in my 60s and held onto mid-back layers because they felt soft. Photos told the truth. My hair looked like it was sliding off my jaw. The day I cut to a clean cheekbone length with light face framing, my eyes looked brighter and my silver studs suddenly sparkled. Janet, 66, had the same revelation. After her cut, she asked why her earrings looked so good. When the eye travels up, accessories come alive. Style the rest of your look to reinforce the lift. Boat neck and V-neck tops open the neckline and echo the new verticals. Choose medium, light-catching earrings to mirror the hair's movement without overwhelming it. Quick gut check for you. Do your ends turn see-through by week 6? Are you spending more than 5 minutes fixing the front every morning? Do your glasses fight the hair at the temples? If so, this shift will save time and sharpen your features. Ready to frame the face without drag. Next, consider the modern chin-length bob that refines the jawline and subtly lengthens the neck. Secret number 2, the modern bob that doesn't scream, "I gave up." A chin-grazing bob frames the jaw and cheekbones, sharpens your outline, and visually lengthens the neck. Exactly what many of us need as hair diameter and growth rate often decline after menopause, making long ends look wispy and fatiguing the face. Studies show postmenopausal changes include reduced hair diameter and slower growth, particularly at the frontal scalp, which is why a clean, shorter perimeter reads fresher and fuller. I like to tell my stylist, classic bob at or just below the chin, blunt perimeter for strength, micro-texturing at the ends so it doesn't look boxy, minimal layers, and a light bevel that turns in at the jaw. If you're growing out, remember average hair growth is roughly 0. 5 inches, about 1.25 cm per month, so plan trims every 6-8 weeks to keep the edge crisp while maintaining progress. At home, I keep it to 5 minutes. Heat protectant on damp hair, blow dry with a flat brush, tipping the ends under. If you've got a wave pattern, clip the front for 2 minutes to train the curve. A whisper of shine mist on the mid-lengths and ends only so the crown keeps its lift. On humid days, I add a pea of smoothing cream at the perimeter. Done. Fashion-wise, this cut loves collared shirts and blazers on work days, then a Breton stripe crew neck for easy, French-leaning weekends. If your silver is coming in, and most of us see noticeable graying between 45-65, a blunt bob's clean lines make that sparkle intentional. From the chair, I'm 62, and moving from a long, layered style to a jaw-length blunt bob with micro-texture instantly lifted my face and stopped the hair battling my glasses problem. Lorraine, 72, walked in after a humidity meltdown. We shaped a jaw-length bob with a beveled edge. She calls it her 5-minute facelift. Are you fighting frizz at the ends? Do your frames and side hair compete? Would a cleaner edge around the jaw make your earrings and cheekbones pop on camera? Tell me your hair density and natural texture below. I'll suggest the right bevel and finish. Next, we'll compare this bob to a soft Pixie for even more crown lift without losing femininity. Secret number 3, the soft Pixie. Not edgy, just elegant. Soft Pixie equals lift without edge. It places intention where it matters, at the crown and along the cheekbone, so finer strands read deliberate instead of skimpy. That matters after menopause, when hair shafts gradually narrow and density can dip. Diameter typically peaks in our 20s and declines from the 40s onward, and female pattern thinning becomes more common in the 50s and 60s. I see it every week in the chair, and I've lived it. At 64, I retired my shoulder-length layers for a soft Pixie and watched my eyes reappear. My morning went from 15 minutes of coaxing to 3 minutes of shaping, and my granddaughter said, "Nana, your cheekbones are back." Ask for it precisely. Longer on top for touchable texture, tapered, not buzzed sides, and a low, feminine neckline. No hard clipper marks, keep the top pliable, never spiky. If your hair is fine or thinning, this architecture is friendly. It gives crown height without exposing scalp, and it pairs beautifully with glasses because the clean temples stop the frame hair tussle. That confidence boost isn't trivial. More than half of postmenopausal women report some degree of hair loss, so designing a cut that flatters thinning is both aesthetic and emotional care. Home routine, 3 minutes. Work a dime-size texturizing cream through the top while damp. Blow dry forward and slightly up with your fingers, then pinch the front for softness. If a cowlick misbehaves, tap a flat iron for 2 seconds and release. Trim cadence, every 4-6 weeks to keep the neckline crisp, pushing to 8 still grows out gracefully. With average scalp growth around 0. 5 inches per month, that interval preserves shape without endless salon visits. Story from the community: Yvonne, 68, resisted Pixies for years. We cut a soft version with a tapered nape. Her daughter's first line was, "Mom, your eyes look electric." The style does the lifting, your accessories do the sparkling, think statement frames and a delicate necklace that sits just below the collarbone. Questions for you: do your frames fight with your temples by noon? How many minutes do you realistically give your hair each morning? Where do you want lift? Crown, cheekbone, or both? Tell me in the comments, and I'll tailor the blueprint. Next, we'll dial in ear-length sides that make glasses look intentional, not crowded. Secret number 4. Side-swept bangs. Your 30-second soft focus filter. Side-swept bangs create instant lift and softness by redirecting the eye diagonally across the forehead toward the cheekbones. The result is movement, gentler lines, and a clear spotlight on the eyes, without the weight or severity of a blunt fringe. They're ideal for straight or slightly wavy textures, and even a stubborn cowlick behaves when the bang is cut longer and trained to sweep across. Ask your stylist for soft, side-swept bangs that begin around the outer brow and angle diagonally, kept wispy, long, and fully blended into the sides with no blunt shelf. Have the detail work finished dry so the stylist can see how the hair settles on your face. Styling takes 2 minutes. Blow dry the fringe in the opposite direction first to erase splits, then guide it back to its final side. Set a Velcro roller while you do skincare for 5 minutes and let it cool completely. Finish with a light mist of flexible hold in the air and walk through it so the hair stays airy, not stiff. Maintain the line with a quick trim every 4 to 5 weeks. Scalp hair averages about ½ an inch of growth per month, so the angle stays precise and the sweep continues to sit perfectly above the brow. Why this matters after 60. Fiber diameter and density naturally decline, which can flatten the upper face. A diagonal, lightweight fringe restores visual lift and frames the eyes without adding bulk. As a woman in her late 60s who sleeps on her right side, I used to wake with a crease across the front. Once I switched to a longer side-swept fringe, that crease read as intentional texture instead of bedhead. Michelle, 64, had the same issue. We cut her fringe to cheekbone length, trained it right to left, and her morning kink became soft movement that brightened her entire expression. Pair the cut with a soft V-neck or cowl neck to echo the diagonal and choose teardrop earrings to continue the line toward the cheekbone. If you wear glasses, this fringe balances full rim frames beautifully. Tell me which side you naturally part on, whether you have a cowlick, and the length of your current bangs. I'll tailor the sweep and maintenance plan to you. Next up, the tapered nape, the small neckline tweak that quietly lengthens the neck and polishes every profile. Secret number 5. The tapered nape, your invisible neck elongator. A tapered nape is a quiet precision move that makes the neck look longer and the whole head shape appear lighter. By gently blending the last half-inch to 1 inch at the hairline, without harsh clipper lines, you remove the puff that gathers where collars and scarves meet the hair, so the eye travels up to the jaw and cheekbone instead of stopping at a fuzzy edge. It's especially effective if you notice bulk at the back of the head or a hump when you zip a jacket or tie a scarf. When you book, ask for a gentle, tailored taper at the nape with a clean, feminine perimeter designed to elongate the neck. Mention the collars and scarves you wear most so your stylist contours the outline to sit neatly inside your wardrobe. Speaking as a woman in her 60s, I first tried this because every side view photo exposed a telltale puff at my neckline. A scissor-cut taper, not a boxy clipper finish, instantly slimmed the back of my head and stopped my silk scarves from pushing the hair up. At home, I keep a soft Bormix brush by the door and give the nape 2 quick downward strokes. Then I tap a pea of light paste between my fingertips and press along the hairline to seal flyaways without collapsing crown volume. It takes less than a minute and keeps the outline sleek through the day. Plan on a neck tidy every 3 to 4 weeks between full haircuts. Human scalp hair grows about ½ inch per month, roughly 1/8 inch per week, so by week 4 you've added enough length at the hairline to blur a crisp taper. Schedule the quick cleanup when you check out. It's an inexpensive way to keep photos and profiles sharp. For styling and outfit synergy, show off the added length with scoop necks, stand collars, or scarves tied low rather than high. Simple studs or modest hoops keep attention near the eyes, exactly where the taper directs it. Questions to guide your choice. Do your collars or scarves create a bump at the back of your hair? How many weeks pass before your neckline looks fuzzy in side photos? Would a fast neck trim fit your routine better than a full cut? With the outline now clean, the next upgrade is crown lift. Subtle hidden layers that support volume without visible steps. Secret number 6. Hidden invisible layers for crown lift without choppiness. Hidden invisible layers are short internal layers cut underneath the surface. Think scaffolding that props up the crown, so the outside stays sleek and unchoppy. They're ideal if your bob collapses by lunchtime or fine, straight strands separate at the part. Biologically, most scalp hairs, about 90%, sit in the active growth phase at any moment, but shaft diameter naturally peaks in our 20s and 30s and declines from our 40s onward. That loss of heft is why surface layers can look wispy while the crown falls flat. Adding lift from the inside restores structure without exposing steps or frizz. Here's the precise routine I teach clients who want reliable crown volume in 4 minutes. On damp roots at the crown only, mist a root lift spray. Keep product off the mid-lengths to avoid collapse. Blow dry the crown up and back using just your fingers. Air direction matters more than brushes for fine hair. Clip the crown in 2 or 3 small metal clips to cool and set the lift while you finish makeup. Release, then smooth the exterior with a flat brush, curving it slightly to preserve height rather than ironing it flat. Expect lighter daily shedding. 50 to 150 hairs is normal, so don't panic when a few strands come out as you style. How to brief your stylist. I need internal layers for crown support. Keep the exterior smooth, no visible steps, and don't thin the perimeter so my ends stay substantial. Maintenance every 8-10 weeks holds the interior scaffolding. Fringe or neckline cleanups can slot in at week 6 if you like a razor-sharp outline. I'm 64, and I switched from surface layers to hidden layers last year after realizing my bob looked polished at 8 a.m. and defeated by noon. The internal cut gave me a consistent, camera-ready crown without adding heat or hairspray. Grace, 63, had the same result, and retire the upside-down blow-dry dance for good. If you wear glasses, you'll appreciate how a lifted crown balances frames without creating bulk at the temples. Do you notice your hair wilting at the part by midday? Does your bob look thinner at the bottom than it feels to the touch? Would 4 minutes of set-and-go styling change your morning? Next, pair this interior lift with soft, side-swept bangs to direct light to the eyes and finish the face elegantly. Secret number 7. Ear-length crop that loves your glasses. An ear-length crop refines the temple area so hair and frames finally work together. By stopping the side perimeter at the earlobe and angling it slightly forward, you remove the bulk that competes with frame arms, reveal cheekbones, and sharpen the profile. For women over 60 who wear glasses, and that's the vast majority, roughly 92% of Medicare beneficiaries use eyeglasses. This small adjustment makes a visible difference in every candid and every zoom square. If you're constantly tucking hair behind your ears or battling a puff where your frames sit, you're the ideal candidate. Most temple arms measure between 120 and 150 mm, with 135 or 140 mm the common sweet spots, designing the side length to clear that hardware prevents the telltale bulge and keeps the silhouette clean. In the chair, ask precisely. Shape the sides to ear length with a slight forward angle. Keep a flat, neat line at the temples so there's zero bulge behind my glasses, and tip the perimeter toward my cheekbones. Have your stylist do one tidy pass over the top of the ear. That single refinement separates polished from fussy. At home, I keep it simple. On dry hair, I smooth the sides with a paddle brush and a pea-size light cream, then pinch the front to lift the brow line. If your frames still push hair out, ask your optician to micro-adjust the temple curve so the haircut and hardware share the same lane. Maintenance is straightforward. Book every 6 to 8 weeks and add a week 4 ear and temple tidy if your frames start catching, with hair growing about ½ an inch per month. That cadence preserves proportion and keeps the outline crisp. From my own mirror, when I switched to progressives at 67, my temples always looked cluttered. We cropped the sides to the earlobe and beveled them forward. Overnight, my frames read like jewelry instead of equipment. Before you book, ask yourself, do your frames shove hair into a bump behind the ear? Do wisps snag the hinge? And would a cleaner side line reveal your cheekbones? If you love this temple discipline but want more crown movement next, explore a subtle, modern shag. It adds energy without disturbing frame harmony. Secret number 8. The subtle, modern shag. A light, crown-focused shape that lifts without chaos. The subtle, modern shag lifts the face with airy, crown-focused layers and controlled movement, so hair reads energized and polished, not messy. It's ideal for natural waves or for straight hair that will accept a light texture spray. Medium density is easiest, but I routinely customize this shape for finer textures by keeping the outer shell smooth and building movement inside the cut, so the perimeter never looks choppy or thin. When you book, be direct. I want a soft, modern shag with gentle crown layers, slightly longer temple pieces for lift, no heavy fringe, and no visible steps. It should air dry nicely. That tells your stylist to engineer volume internally and to keep the edges refined. At home, keep styling fast and light. Scrunch a palmful of airy mousse into damp hair, let it air dry to about 80%, then diffuse just at the roots for 2 to 3 minutes, and finish with texture mist through the mid-lengths only. You're out the door in 5 minutes, and the shape holds without puffing at the sides. Plan trims every 8-12 weeks. Hair grows roughly ½ an inch per month, so by week 10, you've gained about 1.25 inches, enough to soften the outline without collapsing crown lift. Speaking as a woman in my 60s who spent years hiding behind safe, long layers, this change gave me cheekbones again and returned 10 quiet minutes to my mornings. I no longer chase frizz with a brush. The cut does the work. My client Renee, 60, calls hers the espresso hack because people keep asking if she slept better. The layers create that rested look even on busy weeks. If you wear glasses, ask your stylist to keep the temple area airy so the frames don't compete. That small adjustment makes the whole silhouette read cleaner. Pair the Shag's softness with a flowy blouse under a structured jacket. The soft plus sharp contrast mirrors the haircut's polish. Do your roots collapse by noon, or do your ends frizz while the top lies flat? Do your frames fight your temples? Tell me your texture, density, and whether you air dry or blow dry, and I'll tailor a plan. If you want the same lift with more styling options, we'll move next to the collarbone crop in secret number 9. Secret number 9. The collarbone crop, Goldilocks length. I love this cut because it skims just past the jaw to the collarbone, so the eye travels up to your cheekbones instead of down to wispy ends. On days when I want polish, I tip the ends slightly under. On casual days, I flip the front out a touch and it still reads fresh. If you're not ready for short but crave a lighter, lifted outline, this is the bridge. You keep versatility, tucks, clips, a quick half-up, without the drag that longer lengths can create as density changes with age. For many of us, perceived hair amount dips in the mid-40s and again in the mid to late 50s, so removing bottom weight is a kindness, not a risk. Here's exactly how I ask a stylist. Cut to collarbone skimming with light face framing. Keep weight out of the bottom 2 inches so it doesn't pull my face down. I want movement without fuss. At home, I keep it to 5 minutes. Heat protectant, a flat brush blow dry with the ends nudged under, then only if I want extra polish. A 25-inch iron for 1 or 2 bends around the face, finished with a touchable hold spray. Maintenance every 8-10 weeks keeps the perimeter crisp. If I'm wearing side-swept bangs, I pop in at week 5 for a quick fringe trim. And because hair averages about a ½ inch per month, cutting 2 inches is roughly 4 months of growth, low risk, high reward for testing a liftier outline. Belinda, 61, called this her change without shock. The first morning after her cut, she texted me, "My blush and gloss finally look like enough." I've had the same experience. At 64, this length made my pearl studs and crewneck knits look suddenly intentional. Speaking of outfits, pair the collarbone crop with crewneck sweaters, fine gauge tees, and delicate chain layers. The clean neckline and subtle bounce make small, light-catching jewelry read luxe. Tell me in the comments, would you wear the ends tucked or softly flipped? Do you air dry or use a brush? Which neckline in your closet, crew, boat, or V, loves your face most at this length? If you wear glasses, does the front bend help your frames feel styled, not crowded? In the following section, we'll compare this Goldilocks length to the softly textured crop, so you can choose which delivers more lift with less effort for your hair type and routine. Secret number 10. The textured crop stylists quietly choose for most faces. The textured crop is a quiet power move. Feathery lift through the crown and softly point-cut edges open the face, project confidence, and on silver hair, look almost luminous because micro-textures catch and redirect light. Cosmetic science work shows that cuticle alignment and surface micro-roughness change how hair reflects and scatters light, which is why a finely textured surface reads brighter and more dimensional than a heavy, blunt mass. It's also practical for the decades when density naturally tapers. Female pattern thinning becomes common by midlife. About 40% of women show signs by age 50, and more than half of postmenopausal women 50-65 are affected. So a shape that creates vertical lift without side bulk is strategically flattering on most faces and on straight or gently wavy textures. From the chair, here's what I ask for as a woman in her 60s who wears this cut. A soft, textured crop with crown elevation, point-cut edges, and a subtly softened perimeter, no hard lines, and a grow-out that stays pretty. At home, I keep it under 4 minutes. A pea-size volumizing foam placed only at the crown, blow-dry up and back with fingers, then emulsify a whisper of paste and tap just the tips for definition. Maintenance every 6 to 8 weeks preserves the lift, given average growth of roughly 7 inches per month. Letting it run long quickly softens the crown and blunts the silhouette. Results tend to show in comments more than mirrors. Pat, 73, moved from a collapsing bob to a textured crop and kept hearing, "You look rested." Nothing else changed, her crown simply carried the eye upward. Style it with open necklines and clean studs so the vertical line acts like an invisible highlighter. Now, your turn. Does your crown flatten by late afternoon? Do your frames crowd the temples? Are your ends getting wispy before week 8? Tell me your hair density, face shape, and whether you air dry or blow dry. I'll map a customized crown height and perimeter softness. We'll pair this silhouette with neckline and earring formulas that push the lifting effect even further in daylight and photos. Light, contrast, shine, and effort work together to visually lift the face after 60. Direct light where it flatters most. Build soft volume at the crown and bevel the perimeter so illumination travels to the eyes and cheekbones. The brain reads that upward flow as lift, no procedures required. Reinforce the effect with contrast. A clean outline, think a precise bob or a tapered nape, creates a crisp border against skin, restoring the definition that naturally softens with age and making features appear clearer in photos and in person. Preserve shine because luster signals health. Shorter lengths are easier to hydrate and smooth, so the cuticle aligns and reflects light as a single sheet. Pair a polished surface with fine, airy texture to look lively rather than limp. Keep the effort smart and visible in the right places. As hair density and fiber diameter gradually decrease, very long, wispy ends can drag the gaze downward. A tidy 5 to 7 minute silhouette concentrates fullness in the top third of the head, reads intentional, and communicates confidence without fuss. You never have to apologize for changing your hair. You're not abandoning what used to work, you're choosing what serves you now. Shorter doesn't mean severe, it means sculpted, bright, and unmistakably you, with your time and energy back. Transitioning from principles to practice, the next step is selecting specific, face-lifting shapes that embody this science. Starting with the modern bob for crisp contrast, the soft pixie for crown height and eye emphasis, and the tapered nape for instant neck elongation. If today's guide clarified what your hair needs now, you've found your place. On Golden After 60, we champion practical beauty, looks that respect your time, your budget, and the life you actually live. If this spoke to you, subscribe so you never miss the weekly strategies I designed specifically for women 60 and beyond. Tell me in the comments which short hair secret you're ready to try, soft pixie, collarbone crop, or side-swept bangs, and include your hair texture and whether you wear glasses. I'll reply with a custom suggestion you can take straight to your stylist. If a friend has been debating a change, share this video. Sometimes the nudge we need is seeing what's possible. Thank you for spending this time with me and for trusting me with your next step. Your features haven't faded. They're waiting for a smarter shape to bring them forward. I'm proud of you for choosing ease, clarity, and confidence. I'll see you in the next episode of Golden After 60, where we'll turn these principles into precise, face-lifting cuts you can request by name. Until then, take good care and enjoy the feeling of looking like yourself again.